What is going on, FA Nation? John Pemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook preview show. Grande's got your playbook out for all of you. We have 6 games here on the DraftKings PM main slate. Maybe. We got some weather we're looking at here, Grande. A couple of spots where we have some rain that could cause some in-game delays. Matchups between Atlanta and New York, and Minnesota and New York. Both of those games obviously being played in New York. So talk to me, man. What do we think about the weather situations?
I'm going to reserve that. I saw Roth tweeted about 10 minutes ago that he's working up his next report. So I think anytime you start hearing like in-game delay, that's obviously more risky for pitchers, and it's not something that I really worry about for bats, unless it starts going towards lengthy delay. I don't necessarily know this about the Mets case, but I know for a fact the Yankees have an off day tomorrow, and then have to travel and are traveling to St. Louis. So my guess is they would get this game in basically no matter what, right? Because your off day is used to travel to St. Louis. You don't want to use your off day to play a game and then have to travel to St. Louis after that, right?
Yeah.
So my guess is Yankees do whatever they can to get this game in. Mets are home anyway tomorrow against the Braves. This is probably a situation that they'd be more okay with playing like a doubleheader tomorrow, but sure. I guess we'll see, right? We'll see what the Roth update is. Right now, I'm not overly concerned with either, but we'll have to see what transpires for the rest of the night.
As somebody that wants to actively play Mets tonight, I do hope that game plays. We have Cookie Carrasco on the mound, and that is always a bullseye target for us on this slate. Looking at pitching overall, Hunter Brown, Joe Ryan are your top 2 starting pitchers. Hunter Brown had faced Boston in Boston and was nearly perfect in that game. Boston somehow managed to win, and I think walk-off in that one in extras or late in the game. But either way, he got the no decision, but still pitched perfectly. You have Joe Ryan versus the Yankees. As you've highlighted, Yankees offense starting to come alive. Big Giancarlo Stanton. Guy's doing the thing with the bat, which is certainly warranted and needed. Gossman, Peterson, Rasmussen, and then a 8K Shohei, which means
can't play him.
We can't hit him. Can't
unless you're on FanDuel. You can on FanDuel.
Okay.
Which also FanDuel is an 8-game slate. They included the early 640 games.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter Brown is definitely the best pitcher on the slate. Not in the easiest matchup. He also hasn't been pitching great lately, but they need him to step up in this game. Seattle just doesn't lose. So just pencil in Seattle for another win eventually, and you need to win, or else you will not be leading your division anymore. So I think at 10K, Hunter Brown looks pretty good. Boston, since the All-Star break, has been a plus offense against righties. They do have a 23% striker rate. So there is some upside for Brown. I think there is some upside for Joe Ryan as well. There's weather. That's 1. There's power. That's 2, right? The Yankees are doing one thing and one thing only since the All-Star break. They have a 206 ISO. That is a big number.
Good number, yeah.
They lead them even throughout this stretch of terrible play. They lead baseball in home runs. Like, that has not gone away. They're 21st in OPS and 23rd in WOBA since the break as well against right-handed pitching. So, like, when they are not homering, it has just been nothing. There's not a lot there. So if Joe Ryan can keep the ball in the yard, then he is definitely in play. Will he keep the ball in the yard? He has typically done a good job at that this year. He's allowed 15 home runs in 23 outings. So definitely good with Joe Ryan. Gossman in tournaments, I think, is fine. The Cubs have definitely faltered a little bit. David Peterson is safe, reliable guy, right? Just will get you 6 innings. He profiles better on FanDuel because he's typically getting you a quality start. But he's a little more expensive over on FanDuel, $9,000. I like Peterson. I don't love him, but he's safe. And we don't have a lot of safe options on today's slate. Like Drew Rasmussen is probably overall one of the better pitchers we have on the slate. And like we saw last night, you were completely spot on with your Jacob Lopez stuff, and he shoved against Tampa. So it's possible that pitchers do pitch well in bad ballparks, but how often do you want to dip your toes into that well, right? Like,
well, that's what it is, right? That last night was just purely the splits that we saw.
Yes.
Outside of the power, it was just a lot of nothing out of Tampa Bay versus lefties. So
agreed. So on Rasmussen, I think he's fine. And then the Ohtani one, like if you get the start that you got last time out, he had 8 strikeouts and he was very good because he is very good. Like he has been dominant as a pitcher, but it's given to us from Dave Roberts. He is not going past 4 innings. Like that's where he's staying. So, there's a high strikeout ceiling. And when you're just looking at the rest of the slate, like I get it a little bit, but knowing there's such a short limit, if there's any trouble at $8,000, you're dead. That's the issue.
Yeah. I mean, listen, his strikeout prop, as I told you, is at 6 tonight, which is usually a number we see for guys that are not set limited to 4 innings.
Yep.
You also would need him to basically pitch a shutout and have the Dodgers score a whole bunch of runs while he's pitching. So then the official scorer will kind of just give him the win. Otherwise, if this is like a close game or scoreless game, you lose the win points there.
And they might not even, because if Robleski comes in and pitches better or pitches equal to him, then Shohei wasn't in the 5th inning, so they're more likely to give Robleski the win anyway.
Yeah. Again, it all kind of depends on what the score might end up being, but for sure. Once you get through there, though, you have Horton, who we know is being limited. They've kind of come out and said they're managing his innings. Schlittler gets Minnesota, $7K for him. Then you have Ginn, Robleski, Hendricks, Walker Buehler, Carlos Carrasco. The thing with Walker Buehler, as we've talked about, they keep on sort of tinkering with different things with him. They moved him solely to the stretch.
Yep.
I don't know if that matters or not. Dustin May looked pretty good last night. Do we like any of this value tier?
I have 2, and it's not Walker Buehler.
Okay.
That's for sure. I'm not playing Walker Buehler. Cam Schlittler and JT Ginn are the 2 guys that I'm looking at. Now, Schlittler is also someone that I would stack against as a caveat. I would actively use Twins right-handed bats because that's been his bugaboo, righty power. And Buxton's back, and they stacked him and Keyshaw tonight in the lineup. Buxton hitting 2nd, Luke Keyshaw hitting 3rd. So, right off the bat, like you're not going to have fun. They are playing a bunch of lefties tonight, which Cam Schlittler has had no issues with at this point. The strikeouts are good. He just needs to limit home runs, and he's fine. Minnesota is a slightly better than average offense since the break. They strike out about 22% of the time. So, like, there is some upside on a slate that we're just looking for, any type of production from this tier. There's no pitch count limitations. Like, he's good to go. So I think Schlittler can be played, also can be stacked against. And then I think JT Ginn is a very fascinating play because the Rays were good against righties. And then since the All-Star break, they've been bad against everybody.
Yeah.
They're 27th in OPS and WRC plus, and they're 26th in WOBA against righties with a 25% strikeout rate. Like, it's a bad ballpark. We've talked about this, repeatedly. But Ginn's over a strikeout per inning. That, some of that factors into the fact that he was a relief pitcher for most of it, but he is over a strikeout per inning, and he has a 54% ground ball rate. So if you're going to, and I know the home runs were what, bit him in the ass against Baltimore, but if you were relying on someone in a smaller ballpark, it's a ground ball pitcher, get a bunch of ground ball outs. So I think the matchup against Tampa, although, on paper, like it's like, it's a good one. The ballpark is scary, and that doesn't change just because Tampa's offense hasn't been bad. It's just, or has been bad. Like, it's still a scary ballpark. But if he can keep the ball on the ground and in the ballpark, then I think I'm okay going here for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And again, you got to wonder if like Noah Randa in that lineup is causing issues, right? For them there. So,
and they just got, and it's, they do have Brandon Lau back too. So like it was a Brandon Lau thing as well. It wasn't just like a Randa. They were missing two of their primary left-handed bats, and one of them are back, but it's still like a very flawed offense as a whole.
Yeah, sure. Going over to the catcher position here. In smaller slate, we have a couple of top pitchers there. Value plays, Hunter Fiducia is currently projected the highest roster catcher. I guess we'll see if he's in or out of the lineup or not. Will Smith is number 2 on the opposite end of that spectrum. Where are you looking to go at the catcher spot today?
Yeah, I think there's actually from top to bottom, there's good plays. I'd always play Langoliers in his home ballpark. Love Will Smith in this split specifically. Kyle Hendricks has struggled, over 2 home runs per 9 innings, so definitely like Will Smith. Like Ryan Jeffers mentioned, the Schlittler struggles against righty power specifically, so Jeffers at 38. Yanier Diaz, we've talked all year about the Walker Buehler splits and how bad he is against righties. He had one good start. I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. Pitchers have good starts all the time and then revert back to what they were. He has largely been bad all year. So I like the Houston righties. Yanier Diaz, $3,700 looks good. Alejandro Kirk, Cade Horton plus Cubs bullpen. Cade Horton, I'm only targeting like righties here and maybe sprinkle in some Barger, but I like Kirk, 3,100 hitting 5th in a potent offense against a guy who really, really struggles with righties. And he's going to see, Bichette, Vladdy, and Kirk in 2, 3, and 5, like really good part of the lineup. And I love Francisco Alvarez. I think Francisco Alvarez is one of my favorite catchers of the day. You're going to hear us talk about the Mets a lot, and it's warranted. But Cookie's been bad against both splits. Lefties are hitting 300 or 302. Righties are hitting 303. The difference between the splits are that the righties have been driving the ball out of the park. 2.5 home runs per 9 innings, 645 slug for righties this year. Francisco Alvarez, although he has had his fair share of struggles, obviously got sent down. That's all you really need to know when it comes to where Alvarez has been. It's been a lot of unlucky stuff. 142 ISO, 212 expected ISO. Anytime there's that big of a discrepancy, you can just tell, like, there's a lot of factors going into that are just kind of outside of his control. If your expected ISO is 70 points lower than what, 70 points higher than your actual ISO. So, coming off a double dong in a spot against a pitcher that can't get righties out, I think Alvarez is probably my favorite catcher of the day.
Weather update for this here.
Okay, I'd love to hear this. Is it a positive update or a negative update?
Honestly, it depends on what the team wants to do.
Okay.
So Roth is suggesting that late start with a clean game behind it is his forecast.
Okay. For both. Okay. Well, I think that is easy to see in the Yankees case, right? Because they don't want to play tomorrow.
Right.
Like off day, travel, don't want to play. The Mets literally just play the Braves tomorrow. So it depends if they want to do a double header, or so that's what we're saying. Like, do I want to just say like screw it, we'll just play 2 tomorrow.
Right. Because he doesn't also say like what the late start time frame is. Is it 2 hours then play clean? Is it an hour then play clean?
Right.
I guess the timing of that also makes sense. Like, do they want to, have their team sit in the dugout in their unis in the clubhouse for 3 hours? Like, so I think it's going to depend. It's going to depend on what the Mets want to do here.
Right.
So they have that. But I'm with you there on the Alvarez. From an ownership perspective, I mentioned Will Smith and Fiducia at the top. Alvarez is getting around 9%, Ben Rice 8%, Sean Murphy's 6%. So in that range. I didn't mention ownership for pitching. It is Hunter Brown, Joe Ryan, and Schiller as your top guys. David Peterson also over 20%. So people going there. First base. Freddie Freeman from an ownership play is your top guy at $4,800. Where are you feeling at first?
So I love Vladdy at 56. Vladdy's obviously hit a little bit of a groove. Got the average up to 300, about 900 OPS.
Good player.
Very good player. So I like Vladdy, and the Cade Horton splits again, they're terrible against righties. My favorite first baseman is Pete Alonso. I mean, I just spent all that time talking about the Cookie Carrasco splits against righties. This is the righty in the Mets lineup. Pete Alonso coming off the double dong, taking over the Mets all-time lead in home runs. He has started to heat up. I mean, August, he must love August because he is hitting a lot of home runs right now. He's up to 6 home runs in his first, 10 games in August already. So, I think Pete Alonso is my favorite first baseman of the day, and I'm pretty much doing whatever I can to get there. Vladdy's the pivot. Freeman's definitely fine. I said it in the playbook today. Is today the day that we finally have lefties do something against Kyle Hendricks? Because the luck is going to run out eventually. He's throwing 86 miles an hour. He allows a lot of fly balls. His xFIP, his BABIP don't say that. I mean, they just can't continue to get away with this. Is today the day? Could be. It's also just an awkward thing with the Dodgers when Shohei pitches, because if you're not playing on FanDuel, you just can't use him. So I think Freeman's fine at 48. I'm not like, let's go, I gotta play Freddie Freeman. But I do. Yeah, Cade Horton, 23 scoreless innings. He has been very good. He also is not going to get any strikeouts because he's been low strikeout at the major league level, and everything's going to be put in play. So that's going to be put to the test mighty fast against the Blue Jays, against a team who's very good against righties, doesn't strike out, and just puts pressure on your defense all the time. So, yeah, I think Cade Horton could be fine. But if he's not generating strikeouts, he's going to be out of this game pretty fast because that pitch count
he's on a pitch limit. So if he gets 70 pitches by 4 innings,
he's cooked. And the Cubs bullpen is not exactly
Kevin Gosslin's actually getting over 20% too.
Yes.
Michael Bush is there at $4,200. I'm assuming you're in on Houston again tonight. You're not on Walker Buehler, so
no, love Christian Walker.
Yeah, go right back to Christian Walker there.
Yep.
Anything else said first?
No, it's a pretty bad value.
Not a great spot. Second base. Altuve's 53, Lyles 49, Jazz $4,800. Luke Keeshaw's 4K hitting third tonight. Where are you looking to go?
Yeah, I think Altuve looks great. Brandon Lau definitely could hit a home run. Jazz has definitely been better. He's running again. That's literally been what you can't pay for Jazz when he's not running, and now he's running. So you can pay. He's cheaper than he's been too. So you can play any of the top 3. I think Keyshaw looks amazing at 4K. I know he's been hitless in 2 straight games, but this is the spot. He has a 300 ISO against righties, and Cam Schlittler struggles with righties. So I'm going right back to Luke Keyshaw. I don't care that he's on an 0 for 7 because he had a 12-game hit streak before that. Like his first 12 games he's ever played, he dominated. So I'm going right back to the Keyshaw well at 4K. Then I think there's like some interesting value. Brett Beatty is in the lineup. Again, I'd basically play anything Mets related. You're not going to talk me off any Mets. Jeff McNeil's hitting 5th. Ramon Urias at $2,900. He's in the lineup. We know Walker Buehler struggles with home runs against righties, has persisted all year. Urias is 2,900, second base, third base eligible. So the 2 Mets and Urias are the 3 values that I would get to.
Ownership is, again, some guys we don't have finalized lineups for, but value. Well, Ha-Seong Kim's in the middle. Alex Freeland is getting some ownership there.
I mean, again, we talked about this is the exact thing that happened yesterday, where like Thomas Segassi and these players are getting ownership, and like they're not. Whatever, dudes, play them. Sure, go ahead.
Caminero is your highest rostered third baseman today, which makes sense. Muncy's right behind him. Again, a play we could get behind. $54 and $4,500 there. Barzier's under 10%. I know that's someone that we are certainly looking at. And at this point, I don't think you can count out Alex Bregman for anything when he's in Houston. So even though it is Hunter Brown, it wouldn't shock me if he managed to take him yard 2.
Yeah. No objections to really anything you said. Obviously, like when you see the Tampa ownership, JT Ginn is going to be super low owned if you go there because everyone's playing Tampa and they've struggled, but they can break out here. Barger looks okay. Horton has dominated lefties, but he's probably the one guy I would stack. You play that 2 through 5 stack and it looks, Barger's obviously in that. You mentioned Bregman, and he just hits righties. Like he just dominates right-handed pitching. He just continues to dominate right-handed pitching. And Hunter Brown, if there was ever a time for Boston to get to Hunter Brown, it's tonight. He has not been at his sharpest.
His best start has just happened to be against them.
Yes, his best start happened to be against them. Manny Ramirez. If he was still playing, I would probably not play him because he has to be in his 50s, Anthony. So I won't be playing Manny Ramirez. I don't know if Boston signed him to a 1-day contract either. So I will pass today.
I'm not even sure who that could be based on the. We'll figure it out. Yes, Anthony, Shohei is starting tonight. And Justin Robleski is the projected long man. Full Met stack and Peterson, though. I agree with that.
Full Met stack for sure. The Peterson one is solid. Solid pitcher. Like just good pitcher. Met stack, elite. Like Max Muncy, if you're trying to get a home run, I understand Royce Lewis has not been good. This could definitely be a home run spot for Royce Lewis with Schlittler's problems against righties and power. And Royce Lewis is another guy that has had reality versus expectation not exactly go his way. When you look at some of the expected numbers, he has like a 180 ISO against righties. That's really good. I mean, just hasn't panned out for him this year. But this is a spot to get back on track. So I don't have a problem going to $3,300 Royce Lewis either.
Okay. Any value here?
No, Royce.
Okay. Shortstop then. Lindor struggled.
Another no value position, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Lindor has struggled. It is Carlos Carrasco. We do like the Mets. Would this be a spot where you're willing to give him a go, or are you at the field who is playing Mookie Betts tonight?
I am absolutely going to be overweight versus the field on Francisco Lindor and just the Mets as a whole. Because if the field wants to play the Dodgers, it's fine. I don't hate it. But like we've seen how lucky Kyle Hendricks is going to be and how lucky he can continue to get. Lefties are hitting 224 this year. He hit 249 BABIP, which is batting average in balls in play, and 494 xFIP. Like, he just keeps getting away with it, right? There's an Angels pitcher every year that's just getting away with it, John. And this year it's Kyle Hendricks. So I would rather just be overweight. And I know there's like a massive price discrepancy from Lindor to Betts, but Lindor's in a great spot. Like Cookie Carrasco is in trouble here. So yes, I am definitely fine going up from Betts to Lindor. I'm okay going to Mookie. I will say, like, this is the better split. Righties have hit Kyle Hendricks hard, except Mookie hasn't hit righties hard. Mookie hasn't really hit anyone hard, but he's been better against lefties this year. So, for what it's worth, he's been serviceable versus what he was earlier in the year, but we're still not paying any type of discount. He's still $4,700. I think Jeremy Pena, I'd probably play before Mookie Betts as well. Back-to-back games with stolen bases for Jeremy Pena. And if we're getting back into our bag where we're on base all the time, we're running. I mean, he's a super elite baseball player. So that's probably as far down as I'd even want to go. Jose Ramirez is fine. Yes, he's on FanDuel. Guardians against Yuri Perez.
It's a low game total on that one. Only 8 runs. Both Yuri and Gavin are only like 2+ earned for their projection today. Like there's the under feels like a good play in the at least Vegas wise in the Cleveland Miami game. So I don't know if Jose Ramirez is like a must play if Vegas is kind of suggesting there won't be a lot of runs scored there, but
yeah, and he's been really good, Jose Ramirez, but those pitchers,
it's Jose Ramirez. So.
But those pitchers have been really good. So I did mention Bo Bichette also. I would play Bo Bichette. I talked about Kate Horton's struggles against righties. I mean, even with this like streak that he's been on, righties still have a 200+ ISO against him. So just to throw Bichette into the mix as well. So I would do that.
Okay. Going over to outfield. Tampa Bay Rays own your top 3 owned outfielders for today, even though you've been team JT again. Chandler Simpson, Tristan Peters, Josh Lowe are your top 3 rostered.
Dude, people just want to play fake players. I'm convinced they just want to click on fake players.
After Everson Pereira worked out so well last night with his 0 for 4 and 4 strikeouts, we now go to Tristan Peters at 20%. Projected to hit second tonight, apparently. I'd rather just play the Mets, who are actually right below them: Juan Soto, Brendan Nimmo. So, that's your top 5.
Is he? I don't have any. There's no chance that he's hitting second with Brandon Lau back in the lineup. There's just no chance because there are also I've seen multiple places today now project Brandon Lau hitting 7th. Guys, he hit 7th.
There's
a righty on the mound.
Has him hitting 5th. So
Brandon Lau,
Josh Lowe.
No, did I say Josh? Brandon Lau. 7th.
7.
He's just not hitting. He's not hitting 7th against a righty. That's just not happening. So
it would be weird.
if Peters is hitting 2nd and Brandon Lau is hitting 7th, then there's something wrong in Tampa Bay that needs to be addressed, right? Yeah, they're going to start at the top. This Tampa stuff is absurd. At least like their outfielders, because none of those players have done really anything of late. Aaron Judge hit a home run yesterday. It went really far. He was on base a whole bunch. He stole a base. Better to have Jeffers behind the plate than Mickey Gasper. The throws that Mickey Gasper made last night were appalling.
I mean, he's not a real catcher.
No, he's not. No, it was appalling. It was an embarrassment.
Where's Christian Vasquez? Is he hurt?
I think he's hurt. Okay. I think he's hurt. He's on the IL. It was appalling to watch that person play catcher. So he's not. So I don't think Judge will rack up a stolen base tonight, but he's in play. Soto looks great at $6,000. He has throughout this Mets poor play, he's been the one guy that just hasn't slowed down at all. Him and Pete Alonso have really been the whole offense. I think Byron Buxton is on the same level as Judge and Soto tonight because the home run threat is so prevalent against a guy who allows home runs to righties. This is the split for Byron Buxton. This is the split that he is first inning home run. He doesn't have the first pitch home run tonight because he's hitting second now, but I think Buxton is on the same level as Judge and Soto. Those would probably be the 3 guys that I am playing before anyone else over 5K.
Okay. Where do we go next? Again, ownership's weird, so I don't even really know what to look at.
Let's just ignore ownership and just go down the list, because I am actively against the race.
The field?
So
actively against the field today. Yeah.
I mean, I'm so.
All right, so where do you go next then? What's your next play? Usually the outfield, we kind of just find our stacks and build around. So we've talked about obviously these top guys. Where's your next move?
Brandon Nimmo, $4,700. Love him. They're going to continue to hit him third. Big home run off Strider last night. He just continues to drive runs in, and 20, going to hit maybe 30 home runs with a good finish. So I like Nimmo quite a bit. Varsho is one of the more bet home runs of the day, but that's just what he does. He just hits home runs. I like Giancarlo. I've said it repeatedly, and I'm sure people are sick of my Yankees propaganda, but the guy has been awesome. Just period. Just straight up period. He has been awesome. So you could play Big G. He's been so good. They're we have to play you in right field again. Third straight day, it doesn't matter. You're just playing. Sorry. And he's been good out there too. Teoscar in a really good split against righties. Same thing with Pajes. Love the righties here. And then that's probably it for 4K and up. That's probably those are the guys.
Okay. Value then. Again, you have your Mets down here. Mostly just the Mets that we want to play. Anything else? Houston?
Yeah. Yes. So Starling I'd play Starling before Mullins.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with either. I think both. I would just prioritize Marte a little bit more. The righty power is the primary reason, but again, we know that Mullins might get on and steal as well, so it doesn't really matter. Those would probably be the first two, and two of the only guys that I really have interest in. This is not a really strong value position. The Twins guys are interesting because I think their lineup is actually pretty good with the way it's set up. And also some of these cheap Twins, Larnach has homered a bunch lately, and Matt Wallner's back and he's homered a bunch lately. So that's been the Schlittler issue. He's just given up home runs. So if you want to make a case for either of those guys, yeah, you could do that because they hit home runs. But I don't think they're priorities with how much he shut down lefties. Same thing with Yoshida. Yoshida's been good lately, but do you want to actively target him against lefties? This is the issue and why people are playing Peters, because this is not exactly a position of value.
No Jock Peterson, so you don't know really where to go.
Yeah, I don't. What is the field can even do? It's not, and it's why I'm okay with not playing any of this, because I'm also just basically, like you said, against the field tonight. I'm playing a pitcher against this team that everyone's gravitating to. So
the highest rostered outfielder is 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts.
And just got recalled. He was just recalled, or I guess
just got called up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a situation where I understand there's not great value everywhere, but and no, Anthony, it's not. You could play Braves and you could play A's and they'll be low owned. So in a tournament, you can always play these teams that are lower owned, because if they go off, then you have a chance to win. And that, at the end of the day, that's the goal, right? We're trying to win tournaments.
Trying to win. Speaking of trying to win, where do we start? We like Mets.
Pete Alonso, Francisco Alvarez, Starling Marte. There's two values right off rip, right?
Yeah. Alvarez, Marte. All right, 54. What were we doing to the pitching? Did we just jam it Hunter Brown in, or Peterson?
I like Brown. All
right.
Play JT again, because I'm against the field tonight. And if it fails, it fails,
Okay.
I like Keyshaw at second a lot. I love this spot for righties.
Give me one more. The third short outfield.
Do this. What would Buxton put us at?
Plenty of money.
Okay.
4K, third base, shortstop, outfielder. Full lineup in the Discord. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll have the preview show for tomorrow coming out later on tonight. Good luck with your lineups. We'll see you then.